Bill, appreciate you joining us today as we are in the middle of the week after the end of the college football season. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing well. I've always liked the rhythm of the college football calendar. And when the last game is done, I'm good. It's all good.
Good. Well, we're good, too. That was an interesting game to watch. I felt like I don't know if you could kind of tell, but just the fact that Georgia got to Bryce Young so early in the game, it wasn't a sack. It was that fumble return touchdown that was changed into an incomplete pass, but just that they got to him early, you could tell things were going to be different the second time around.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on it. There was only one key to the game, and that was them getting at least to the point where Bryce Young was uncomfortable at times. And in that first game, he was very comfortable, and he tore him to pieces. If he was allowed to play that same game, Georgia doesn't win. But they dialed up some packages to get to him and make him uncomfortable, and you saw the outcome. I mean, holding them down like that. Now, losing Jamison Williams, which is your only deep threat. Now, he's a superior deep threat, but losing him made them very ineffective, too.
Took away the big play, and a team that centered on the big play was held to one 40-yard play, and that was the last play Williams had, and 61 yards. They averaged just under about 4 yards per play. But the one thing that stood out about the Georgia defense, and they didn't have to do this all year long because they just dominated teams. It was like you were lucky if you even got inside the red zone. This was a defense for Georgia that bent a little bit but didn't break. Alabama got in the red zone, but they had to settle for field goal opportunities, and that really stood out to me.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point. And remember, even though they had run the ball better, certainly in the Cincinnati game, Brian Robinson was getting healthier. That's not their strength. Alabama this year wasn't as good as they've been in the past. Meaning, if they had to, they could just pound you into submission. They could throw you out of a ball game, passing the ball, but they could also pound you and take care of the clock. This team could not do that this year, and you're certainly not going to find that against this Georgia defense.
The so-called limitations that we've brought up about Alabama this year, and it's been a running theme about them, trouble running the ball, a little bit of a porous offensive line, not the dominant defense that you've been used to seeing. They're still a really good team, but don't you feel like you could tell throughout the year Nick Saban knew that this wasn't the typical dominant Alabama team that we're used to? You could even see in his post-game comments as well. I think he understood this wasn't one of those Alabama teams, which to me also says he did an incredible coaching job this year.
Might have been his best job, including all the championships. He squeezed all the water out of the rock you possibly could in this case. And they got superstar players, Will Anderson and others, and the Heisman Trophy winner. But this roster, the right side of the offensive line in particular, linebacker play is good. It's not great. And the secondary, frankly, is very human by Alabama standards. And usually they're crazy good at some of those positions. And just right now they're not.
It is weird to kind of think that this was one of Nick Saban's, I wouldn't say worst teams, but definitely not one of its best when you have the Heisman Trophy winner on it. It's kind of weird. You think of any other program, you'd say that's clearly one of their best teams. For Georgia, though, now that they've got the national championship, they've redeemed themselves from what happened in Atlanta in the SEC championship. Where do you think that the 2021 Georgia defense ranks, all time? Did we just see a top 25 defense, a top 10, top 5 all time? Where would they fall in kind of your book?
At least top 10. I think the 92 Alabama defense is the best one that I can remember. But I'd say at least top 10. They're not special in the secondary. They're very human there. They're special in their front seven. Nakobe Dean and a 360-pound nose guard who covers up the center and almost both guards when you're standing behind. You've got that shot there on defensive clippings. So I would say certainly top 10. But here's what's weird, guys. Stetson Bennett has said here the last 24 hours he wants to play. He's got another year, and Georgia's got 2 5-stars and a 4-star in that quarterback room. And this is awkward. I mean, this kid just won a national championship and had something to do with it, former walk-on, but they may be having a conversation with the winning national championship quarterback about how it might be better if you move on. This is going to be really interesting.
It is, and I kind of want to get your opinion on that with the locker room and the quarterback room being as full as you just talked about. I think everybody can kind of agree that there is better talent. You think you have a better chance of winning with one of those other guys. When it comes to Stetson Bennett, though, if he's not at Georgia, is he at another SEC program? Is he at the same level, or is he, going down in the eyes of a lot of people?
Oh, I love Stetson Bennett, but no, we've seen peak Stetson Bennett, and got to remember wherever he goes. I mean, a top caliber program's not taking him in. Wherever he goes, he's not going to have the bodyguards on the offensive line or running back or the superstar freshman tight end or that defense, which is also another set of 11 bodyguards for him. It's not going to be close to that. It's going to be tough if that indeed is what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, but Georgia's got a decision: either bring him back and probably clean out that quarterback room, or at least the ones that are already there, or decide to move on and go with the young guys. And let's say they decide to go with the young guys who have way better stars next to their name in recruiting than he does, and they're not quite ready next year. Then what do you say?
Wouldn't that be amazing? Because I saw an interview with Kirby Smart this morning. Reese Davis was interviewing him, and he asked him about what we're talking about. And his answer surrounded around the idea, and it's the same answer you get from a coach in the season when there's some kind of quarterback controversy. If he gives us the best opportunity to win, Kirby Smart said, about next year, we'd love to have him come back and have him be out there. But that's a non-answer answer.
That's a big if.
And it really, it hit me at that moment. It's like, gosh, here's the program that everybody complained they could never find the right quarterback or a great quarterback. They just won a national title with this guy, and you can't even commit to him next year.
Right. No, I know. And the key, if you're a coach, is you want to keep all these guys to the spring. So you want to be non-committal and get them in the spring, and maybe you can make a decision. After the spring, you can sit down and say, "Okay, guys, here's the way I foresee this season coming up with the quarterbacks," and maybe you can do that. I tell you, I know Stetson Bennett's a Bulldog, lifetime Bulldog, and all that. He went to a junior college, went to a junior college, came back. The guy loves it, but he may be better off just bolting on his own. Just riding into the sunset, man. Think about this. No matter what, he never buys another drink or meal in that state again.
No, he doesn't. And he's already even talked about how he's majoring in economics, how he eventually wants to go to law school. I think even he sees the writing on the wall, but it's also that thing of he's got one more year left. Why waste it? Why ever have that little bit of a regret, as he gets older? And I completely understand that. But, Bill, now that Kirby's got his one, now that, he's gotten over that hump, slaying the dragon of Nick Saban in Alabama, when they build the Kirby Smart statue outside of the hedges, how many rings does the statue have? Is it one or is it multiple?
Wow. Let me think this out. I think he gets another one. He's not going to break some kind of record, but Georgia is one of only a handful or less where every day you get up and everything is there to win a national championship. Your state, the players in the state, your money, your support, your resources, your facilities, the private planes. There's everything you want, including your geographical location, which is as good as anybody's. And so he should get another one somewhere in there. I don't know if I'd pick a bunch, but I would say another one somewhere in there. But look, Nick Saban's going to be favored to win it next year again. And Ohio State, if they get that defense fixed, their offense is going to be a really big problem for everybody with those young receivers, a superstar running back, a young quarterback who just threw for 1 million yards. They get that defense right, and then they're going to be a problem, big problem.
Bill, which which option to watch the championship game did you take? Because you could either watch with the Alabama radio call or the Georgia radio call or the 4-hour commercial with Jimbo Fisher and the A&M coaches, or you could have to listen to Chris Fowler, which I know you probably didn't want to do. What did you do to watch the game?
I had the volume down so I didn't have to listen to Fowler. And I somehow fixed it to where I could only hear Herbie's voice. And so I was on the main ESPN channel. I swear that's what I did.
I think you've programmed yourself to not hear Fowler. Can you imagine what it would be like to try to be a color commentator working with Jimbo Fisher directing a broadcast?
Goodness.
I did not turn that thing on because I didn't want my ears to bleed. But can you imagine what that would be like?
Jimbo, man. He can put more words in a minute than anybody I've ever heard.
That's an understatement.
I mean, I can imagine the quarterback. One of the reasons Zach Calzada's transferred out of Texas A&M is because he was sick of asking his coach over and over again, "Can you repeat what you just said? Can you repeat what you just said?" It's got to be the only thing. Bill, appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping on.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
It's Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. That's right. You get it in your ear, right? In the helmet. Doesn't he still get it in the helmet?
Well, they do that in college? They do the helmet?
No, they got the sideline.
Yeah,
stuff.
They got to do the signs and everything.
Well, that's good because I could understand. Like you could see at Penn State, they had two guys doing dances down the sideline. Each dance, I think, signaled a play or something or a coverage or something on the field. Get Jimbo to dance instead. It would be even more entertaining than listen to him talk.
I'm all for it.
877-377-6963 if you got anything to get with us in the final segment here on Halftime. Brought to you by the Fence Man. Make sure you call the Fence Man when you're looking for new gates, fence repairs at your house. 479-782-3936. They feature 18-month same-as-cash financing. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. Ain't afraid of no work. And we're not afraid of the end of the show, so don't go anywhere.
BetOnline would like to wish you a happy new betting year as we continue our march to the playoffs and beyond. BetOnline remains the #1 spot for all the best sports wagering action for 2022. New year and a new updated desktop and mobile wagering to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.